Guten Morgen, Herr Weigmans. Wie geht es Ihnen?
Oh gosh, what up? That would
Prost.
be my response to someone in Germany.
What up, Deutschland?
Just talking, I'm like, what up? So
Let's have a beer.
So, I know you didn't watch the Super Bowl,
I was working, man.
but did you
like
hear
to.
anything about what happened with the Mr. Peanut mascot?
No, in fact, I didn't even know Mr. Peanut was still relevant.
Well, he was. He was
Okay.
very relevant.
It's funny. I bought some Mr. Peanuts the other day.
You did.
Well, yeah, because, when you buy peanuts, what brand are you going to buy?
What are you gonna get?
There's
There's Mr. Peanut.
Utz
brand.
Nuts. I don't even know if they make peanuts.
Right.
I know.
So
They make pretzels for all I know.
basically, so here's what happened.
Okay.
So
Fill me in on backstory.
before the Super Bowl, and it wasn't, it seemingly wasn't a lead up, but
Okay.
before the Super Bowl, Mr. Peanut, the mascot, was killed off in a commercial.
Like the day of the Super Bowl?
No, this
was like months
prior
ago.
to the Super Bowl. Maybe
Weeks ago.
Yeah, maybe weeks ago.
They killed him off.
They killed him. Yeah, it was
They killed Mr. Peanut.
Yeah,
What?
it was a commercial where he was
Did he get turned to
driving
peanut butter?
I
He got smashed.
He did,
like
though.
crunchy.
He was driving with two dudes, and they went off a ledge of a cliff, and they were all. It was kind of morbid. They were all holding on a branch, and Mr. Peanut broke off, and it fell, and he fell all the way down into the car that landed on the ground, and they were like, "Oh, do you think he's still okay?" And then it blows up,
Peanut.
and then it shows his
peanut butter.
obituary.
Good Lord.
So basically, everybody was like up, not up in arms, but everybody was clamoring about it because it's like, Mr. Peanut is gone. He's done. He's not the mascot anymore. Okay, so Mr. Peanut has been around for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, like a super long time.
Okay.
And
How long?
He came around in like 19 something, like 1916.
That's old.
That's old.
That's like, I didn't know people were smart enough to market that way with a puppet character back in the day. That is some old man Peanut. So he was over 100 years old, and they just killed him in a car crash? Good on him for trying to hold himself up from a tree. I don't think a 100-year-old human could do that.
Apparently, from what I just read, he was created by a grade schooler in like a contest.
Now that does make sense.
Yeah. But back, I feel like back in the day though, you saw a ton of mascots. That was like the
All
way
the
to
time.
do it. So
most of cartoons were mascots selling something.
Essentially, here is what happened.
Okay.
Because essentially, what I want to talk about
Yeah.
is the power of branded characters.
Oh, all right.
Essentially, what happened is they killed him off, and everybody's like. He was
roasted.
He was
huh?
a big mascot,
They
for
roasted the peanut.
planters.
But he was tasty.
he was a huge thing. Everyone knew Mr. Peanut.
Okay.
And then he's dead.
Gone.
And straight up, he's dead.
Right.
And everyone's thinking, okay, well, what is Planters gonna do? What maybe they're gonna go with a modern logo, or just get rid of the mascot overall. Super Bowl commercial comes around,
Okay.
and they're mourning Mr. Peanut.
Okay. Like in a funeral
Yeah,
setting?
they're actually at a funeral. They're mourning him.
Were they all eating peanuts? Because
No.
that would have been hilarious.
That'd be a little insensitive.
In memoriam.
That'd be a little insensitive.
Passing the
So
peanut tray
they're
around.
mourning him,
Okay.
and all of a sudden, all these like vines start to grow out of like the space where they're burying him.
Yeah.
Or I guess I don't know if they found his body, but then
they planted him?
all out of that, a little baby peanut comes out, and then and the baby peanut talks, and he says, "Just kidding, I'm back." And now that's the new mascot. So I'm assuming,
That's gross.
yeah, like did they plant him? Like, well, let's plant a seed in the little
There's
baby.
too much there.
There's a lot of but they were like, well, baby peanut,
It's
and
Jesus the
maybe
peanut!
maybe they're following the trends of baby Yoda and baby Groot and stuff, and making everything babies, which he is cute.
Well, marketing does move in trends.
Yeah.
So if that's the trend, then great.
But here's what I was thinking.
Babies
it's
are
like
cool.
they probably thought, because they have updated mascot characters throughout time, like the Trix Bunny.
Yeah, but their updates are just like, we changed the way we draw
Yeah,
them.
right, exactly.
Like, instead of
but-
cell animation, it's a 3D generated
Right.
character. Like the Lucky Charms
right,
dude.
yeah. So
Leprechaun. What's his name?
but what?
What's the Lucky
think it's
Charms
Lucky.
guy? That's Lucky.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
So But with this, it was like they made a point to do, like, they were probably going to change the design of Mr. Peanut, thinking Mr. Peanut needs a design change.
And people were
he
so
should be
mad.
more modern and cartoony.
Okay.
That was probably the idea.
Okay.
And then the thought process was probably like, well, let's make it a big thing. Let's like kill off original Mr. Peanut.
Yeah.
And then bring him back.
So they brought him back looking different.
Yeah, he looks like a little baby Peanut, but with like more cartoony eyes. He doesn't look like the classic, like, you know, single dot eye with the monocle. He's like a cute little baby Peanut now.
Oh, he's no longer Mr. Vanderbilt of Peanuts?
No.
He's not Robber Baron Peanut Man?
No.
Oh, now he's cute, enjoyable Peanut Dude? Oh, man. I like the Robber Baron. He was cool, man.
But he's cute now.
He was like the guy in Monopoly. Yeah, but you know what? Ours is... I mean, that is cute.
He's cute.
But our society doesn't need cute. We got cute everywhere, bro. Anime has blown up.
I feel like
it's cute all the time.
No, I feel like we do need more cute.
No, we need less cute.
Well, so
We need more beards and rough grossness.
that aside.
Bears eating salmon out of the river.
So, you know, like it or hate it aside, essentially, I just wanted to talk about like the power of marketing, like a Peanut character, right? I mean, like what a smart thing to do, honestly.
Joe Camel.
That was not a smart mascot. No, that got.
Oh, what are you talking about? That made them billions of dollars.
Okay,
it was the most ruthless, genius
moral.
thing ever.
It was disgusting.
Hey, you want to talk about branded characters? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the power of perception.
About the power of good branded characters, not amoral branded characters. Continuing. So, I mean...
Did you know Santa Claus didn't exist until Coca-Cola drew him? Moral or immoral?
No,
The depiction
he existed.
the depiction
The
in which
current
we
depiction,
have
yes.
Santa Claus.
The red outfit and
the
yep.
white beard and
Yep.
the Santa Claus we
The Coca-Cola colors.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, because before that, he did exist as like Saint Nick and whatnot, but he was depicted differently.
So continue. Let's talk about the
yeah.
power of branded characters.
So, I mean, I really just want to, talk about the strength of that. I mean,
Okay.
look at the brands that have absolutely memorable commercials.
Sure.
What do they all have in common?
Well, they come back to a central theme
Right. And a lot of the times it's through a character.
through a character. Well,
I think-
Budweiser in like 2016 or something like that, they brought back the Clydesdales
Yep.
in their Super Bowl
Where they had the
commercials.
frogs for a while.
Well, but they brought back the Clydesdales because they had retired the Clydesdales.
Right.
And we were told years ago that we're
They
not
wouldn't
going to
come
see
back.
the Clydesdales anymore. And then we
Right.
saw them again.
And
It
everyone
was
went
like-
nuts.
And everyone loved the Clydesdales. And but let's be fair. Super Bowl commercials have gotten weak. over
Oh,
the
yeah.
past
Super
couple
Bowl
years.
commercials are bad.
They used
now.
to be great.
But-
like, you used to watch them and be like, yeah, straight up.
Yeah,
Like,
but I'm not talking about Super Bowl commercials. I'm just talking about branded characters in general. Because I think about, like, the Mayhem character. Or, like, the Geico Gecko. Or I think, like, what Old Spice did. I mean, look at what Old Spice did with the spokesperson.
Yeah.
Hello, ladies, look at me. Now look at your husband. Now look back at me. Like, that dude, he changed marketing forever. Like, that character, man. I mean, Geico had it on lockdown for a little bit, but, like...
it wasn't the first of its kind.
No, it
though,
wasn't, but it definitely changed it.
I think about, Old Spice man. What's his name?
I actually don't know his name.
I don't know his name.
Old Spice guy.
Old Spice guy. Yes, his character was like powerful and did things, but what's more interesting for me to think about is the team behind him.
Yeah, totally.
To me, marketing is one of the most interesting, fascinating, creative / terrifying, dangerous, manipulative industries in the world.
Yeah, I mean, branded.
It's positive from this perspective. If you're trying to sell something and you want to connect with your audience, a branded character is a very strong way to do it because people understand it and they will see themselves in that scenario. Plus, like you were saying with the Peanuts character, you can go outside the brand. You can go outside the environment.
He can do
the
anything
world.
because he's
He
a
can do whatever he
fictitious
wants.
character.
And that becomes fun for the marketers. That becomes fun for the brand owner because you can see what can we do here? Flow, mayhem, same type of thing. There's also the other side of so the positive moral argument to branding this way is you have a product that you believe will make someone's life better.
Mm-hmm.
you want to introduce it into the marketplace. Well, how do you do that? And you want to get it into people's hands because you think your product will make their lives better. Now, probably just destroyed that microphone.
It's gone.
The problem with that comes from that, that's the altruistic, like, that's like the good cause. Like, I have this great product I got to get in people's hands. The best way to do it is this way. Problem is, marketers have used it in ways to extremely bastardize that premise. And that's where Joe Camel is a great example.
Mm-hmm.
Selling tobacco products to children is very, very unethical.
Yeah. That's like the pinnacle example of the unethical use of
Ronald
branded
McDonald is being looked at this way now.
Yeah. Well, I feel like they're kind of phasing him out.
Well, he's still around.
Yeah.
And I don't really care. Like, I'll eat McDonald's, like, fine, whatever.
Right.
Like, the Ronald McDonald House, like, there's been exposés that the money you donate to the Ronald McDonald House, like, 1% of that money goes to the Ronald McDonald House.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's factual or true, so, like, don't quote me on that. But, those are just examples of branded characters who have been perceived as being not good in society. Even the cereal commercials, people argue that. People are like, Tony the Tiger, why is he selling, cornflakes with sugar on it? And why do we have to have they're great, type of stuff? It's like, because the argument is we're making our children unhealthy. Mm-hmm. So my question is, can a branded character be used in a way that's positive?
Yeah.
I would think Flo.
I think Flo
isn't detrimental. She's selling insurance. Whatever.
I think that
Geico.
I think the Mayhem guy
is
probably a very good example
right.
of a good campaign run with a good character selling something that does help people. And I think he's so strong because he's the persona of the problem, right? Mm-hmm. So like you love to hate him.
Yeah, he shows up when you're not expecting it.
I'm the girl who just got broken up with on the from my boyfriend on the phone, and then he turns into your car. I'm the raccoon in your attic. Right. I mean, he's fun because it's making a character that he's the bad guy, but you like it because it's funny and it's farcical and it gives a personality to the problem. And it connects with you on an emotional level.
And it brings something that is relatively traumatic to a person's life journey.
Right.
It brings levity to it.
Yeah.
Instead of having a spokesperson there, I think Progressive used to have it where a guy was standing in front of the camera and he's like, "Your house was just broken into, and this is really terrible."
I think that was Allstate.
Oh yeah, Allstate. Good
Allstate
thing.
Is in your
Good thing
hands.
Allstate's on your side, or whatever it was. And that's like, yeah, okay, cool, like, fine, but man, that is a big bummer. Like when I'm like, you just put me in a bummed out state, and like when I'm in that state, I'm gonna be even more bummed.
Right.
Chances are I'm not gonna connect the two. But if I'm gonna be bummed out in that moment, chances are I'm going to want something that's at least entertaining, or I remember, this is like that time, Mayhem did this. And you're like, call them.
Here's the good thing, or I think those are good characters to bounce off of each other because I think they do two different things. And I think Mayhem is a lot stronger because the Allstate guy, I think, is playing on the after it's happened.
Yeah.
This thing has happened. Don't
insurance,
worry.
You don't want to call anyone after it happens.
Don't worry. We have your back. It's sad. It's kind of and it's after it happens. Mayhem is posing the real world stuff that everyone understands where they look at it and they laugh and they say, "That's funny. That does happen all the time. I don't want that to happen to me."
Right.
And they call. So I feel like it gets people to look more proactively at it, which ultimately, I mean, that is the power of a branded character, is like something like insurance, something that nobody wants, something nobody like you want it, obviously, but something that nobody wants to think about, nobody wants to pay for. How do I get people to buy insurance?
Well, and ultimately, those insurance companies are platforms or they're marketplaces.
Yeah.
Geico and Allstate, or not Allstate,
right.
Progressive. You go there, they get you quotes from local insurance providers.
Yes.
So one added benefit of having a branded character in that situation is brand awareness.
Right.
Brand building.
Well,
So, for example, you have Geico, you have Progressive, you have Allstate, you have all these other insurance brokers out there who are trying to sell you stuff.
Right.
It's heavily competitive.
Yeah.
They want their name remembered.
Yep.
So what are they going to do? So for them, Mayhem, for example, there's more value in the entertainment of Mayhem than the actual information of Mayhem.
Right.
Because what they want you to do is remember, when you're in the marketplace for shopping for insurance, check us out.
Look for the
I've
Mayhem
done it.
guy.
I've gone to Geico.
Right.
I've gone to Progressive. I've gone to Allstate, right?
And that's really what the branded character ultimately does, is it helps people reconnect to your brand all the time. Like,
It's all, well, and it's a visual representation. It's that instant brand identity.
Yeah.
That's what Ronald McDonald does so well with McDonald's.
Well, look at like a newer one that's kind of circulated in the last maybe 5 years is the Sour Patch Kids.
Sure.
Sour Patch Kids have been around for a long time.
But they finally decided to bring life to them.
Yeah, they finally decided, hey, let's actually take the little character we already made and animate it, turn it into a character.
Right, right.
And now everyone loves Sour Patch Kids again, and they're everywhere, and there's kiosks with little Sour Patch Kids like, "Nyeh."
Well, if you wanna research and study branded characters, watch Saturday morning cartoons, if those are still a thing, and
I don't know if they are.
watch the kids' networks.
Yeah, totally.
You, as an adult watching, obviously Netflix, but like watching network television, you don't see branded characters in advertisement nearly as much.
Right.
But in
kids stuff.
in children television, Nickelodeon, Comedy Central, Cartoon Network, well, not Comedy Central, Cartoon Network, Disney Channel, holy cow.
Yeah.
It is just a circus of branded characters.
Yeah, right.
It's one episode or one commercial after another. Even the non-branded character commercials, I'm thinking like Nerf, still have a branded character feel to them, where it's like, here's the suburban kid with his Nerf gun. Do 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 do.
Well,
and every kid's like, I want to be that.
Kid commercials have an even bigger leg up, because they don't even necessarily have to use their own branded character. Right. They could just license.
Right, because kids are dumb.
Like Kraft, like they don't even use the Kraft Dino anymore, because they can just license Iron Man. They can license Elsa and put it on their boxes, and now they're selling mac and cheese.
Oh, bam.
So,
hey, I'm Iron Man, and you eat your Kraft singles. Yeah, well, and like, dude, Lego has done a fantastic job. It's actually a kind of a bummer in my nostalgic heart of how franchised. Is that the right word? Franchised? What's the word I'm looking for? Licensed characters. Anyway,
a franchise.
Every Lego set now is a
licensed
character.
Yeah. They don't make
you
their
don't
own
have
sets
the OGs.
anymore.
Yeah, you don't have the OG knights that just have the yellow faces and the smiles.
But they kind of have their own world again with like the Lego movie. But again,
no, but that's what I mean. That is
huge
advertising.
Yeah.
That movie in and of itself, both of those. How many are there now? There's Ninjago, Batman, Lego
There's
1
a
and
ton.
2.
Yeah, there's a ton.
And they're all really good, and
Right.
each and every one of those is a Lego advertisement. It's
Right.
just a commercial. They literally sit there and said,
Let's make a commercial
let's spend
movie.
$90 million on one commercial where we have a captive audience for over an hour and a half. That sounds like a great idea.
I mean, that's the strength of branded characters, though, is that like they're so memorable. We're doing
spaghetti. I think Brita, who makes spaghetti? I think a spaghetti company, if they could figure out how to integrate a branded character correctly, could get kids excited about spaghetti.
Yeah, and when you start looking into it, I mean, like I said earlier, the brands that really stand out, the ones that you remember all the time, have a consistent branded character.
Well, and I mean, as humans, we're built on story.
Totally.
I mean,
and with characters, fictitious characters, you could put them in any setting you want.
I mean, hands down, like, all of history is built on the story of the past.
Right.
And it's like, before there was television and before there was print ads and all this stuff, there was communication in fire circles about the myth or the heroic journey of King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table and how great they were and what they did for the Kingdom of England and blah, blah, blah,
Right.
blah, blah. And
Yeah.
it's like, it was all fake.
Yeah, totally.
But it stirred up a group of people because it was story and it was propaganda and it was meant to make people excited. Well, that's what we're doing, but we're just doing it by trying to sell plastic now.
So
make the world better every
we're doing
day.
a campaign. We're doing a campaign right now with a branded character.
Oh, sure.
And that whole thing is to sell a
service.
platform. It's to sell a service to get work done to get projects done on demand.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, how do you say that quickly, and how do you communicate to people quickly with that? And, branded character has been the best way to do that. A actual spokesperson saying, hey, anytime you have a project, anytime you have a problem that you need solved,
let us help.
I'm the guy.
Yeah.
Because I now, because we're working with them, I keep getting like, I keep getting their ads spammed on my Instagram, which is fine.
It's like, great, I've seen
cool.
this 100 times. I get it.
It's
I
like
know who to call.
they took the face from the video we made, and they turned him into a little poster ad.
Yeah.
Of like, hey, get work done, hire us, and it's the character.
Right.
And I was like, dude, awesome. That's exactly the reason why we made him.
Yeah, and it's recognizable, and so as time goes on, people will not even need to necessarily even read
this. Yeah, they just see the guy. There is strength in brand characters. I mean,
there's extreme strength in branded
just
characters.
look at what happened with the Planters, Mr. Peanut. It's like the ability to just bring so much attention to your peanuts because you killed off your character from 1916 and then brought him back as a cute little baby peanut.
Kool-Aid Man. He's cool.
Kool-Aid Man is a great brand.
He's a vandal, man.
Well, he kind of is.
Breaking stuff.
He breaks people's stuff.
Creating a bunch of degenerates.
I think he hasn't done that as much since the 90s got done, but
since it was no longer cool putting cherry bombs down toilets.
Yeah. Here's a crazy one.
Okay.
Wendy's. The Wendy's girl has never really. They've always had the character. They never. This is kind of like Sour Patch Kids. Didn't really ever use her. Right?
She was just there.
She was just there. She
no,
was
they
just
had
the mascot.
Grandfather, the old guy.
Yeah.
Wendy was he was like the
Dave
old guy
Thomas.
who would talk about how that's my girl or that's my granddaughter.
Okay, so they used her a little bit, but then they stopped.
But not as a person.
Right.
And then he died.
So it all started when they started using her on like Twitter to be mean to people. Like
she's mean to people?
Yeah, no, she was. They called her Salty Wendy or whatever, or Smug Wendy.
Oh, that's great.
It's
like
essentially people would tweet to Wendy's and be like, hey, I'm at Burger King. What do you think? And Wendy's would like tweet him back, be like, get your money back. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, it would do stuff like that. And it became such a huge thing. The internet grabbed onto it, drew pictures of her, all kinds of crazy stuff. And now Wendy's has made its own Dungeons and Dragons module where Wendy and the cast of like Wendy's characters are playable classes, and you're fighting the frozen beef king. Like you're fighting the McDonald's and the Burger King. Dude, I'm not kidding. It's nuts.
And that gets people so excited.
So
inside.
jacked.
Wow.
That's a fun way to do a branded character.
Oh, for sure. Like, dude, there's so many The thing with a branded character is the horizon is endless.
You just have to grasp it.
And that's it. You have to stop fighting it. You have to pretty much say, like, I know this is goofy. I know this is bizarre. But I'm telling you what, we start having fun with this character, the world is going to start having fun with this character.
Right.
And then you're not going to care. Why? Because the green's going to be rolling in. And you're going to be taking market share.
That's why.
And that's the point.
And that's why Mayhem works. He's fun. They had fun with him.
Good.
And they got really farcical.
I mean, and I like that stuff. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I think the Old Spice commercials are great.
Yeah.
I think they're just hilarious and fun. And like, do I buy Old Spice? No, I don't. But
you don't. I do.
But you do, right?
I totally do.
Marketing in general, it's not just a branded character is one part of marketing.
Yes.
Marketing in general
Yes.
is designed to convince people to buy something.
Right.
And that's the ultimate metric.
Greatest branded character of our current generation, Deadpool. Because
is he a branded character?
he has become one.
Yeah?
The marketing that they did for the Deadpool movie was so smartly done as using him as both the character from the movie but also a branded character because he can break the fourth wall.
Okay.
Because he can talk to people in a commercial saying, hey, I'm Deadpool from the Deadpool movie. Come see my movie. Like,
sure.
And then he could be on billboards.
And he's selling rice
and he can
noodles
be
and
in. He was on like a testicular cancer ad. Talking about himself, his movie, and testicular cancer. Like,
it's not a cool thing.
Dude, so Deadpool and the Wendy's girl.
Oh my gosh. Man, it's nuts. It's just great. And, like, it's a science, man.
Yeah.
It is a science. And, like, dude, all of this. Remember Burger King?
Yeah.
There was one that people just did not like.
But he kept sticking it
And
out, and
then
he's still around, and
peop-
people like him now.
Because he was so creepy.
Yeah.
People now go to him for that uncanny valley. I'm creeped out.
Yeah, but
Like,
they played into it.
they
They were like, he's
they
creepy. So you know what?
embraced it.
We're gonna have him sneaking into people's houses
We're gonna
and
have
giving
him
them
pop
burgers.
his head up over the shrubbery.
Yeah,
It's like, so there's an example of Burger King saying, yeah, we gotta do something here.
yeah.
And
People think he's creepy. Don't pull him. Lean into it.
lean into it.
Make him creepier. That's Real Talk today, talking about brand characters.
God, that was bizarre.
They are super strong. if you want to sell something, man, use a branded character. Please do it ethically.
Anyone will do it. Anyone will buy your stuff.
So yeah,
Make them interesting. They don't even have to be interesting, honestly. Yeah, they do have to be. They do have to be.
They should be
They should be interesting.
so if you want to support this channel, see more content like this, like, share, and subscribe. Leave some comments below, and as always, we'll see you on the next one.
See ya.